All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Anthony Joshua explodes on Tyson Fury over the Deontay Wilder lies that he had been telling, and he calls Fury, basically says you're a fraud and a clout chaser. Let's talk about that in this video. Because I have been out on the front line for about a year telling everybody that this is exactly what was going to happen. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury had agreed to fight each other in a third fight. And Tyson Fury, two things happened. First, Tyson Fury cheated and won. And then the second thing is that Tyson Fury, then once he got caught cheating, tried to pull out of the fight and take everything that he won, all his ill-gotten gains, and leave with him. Unfortunately for Tyson Fury, the people that needed to believe this nonsense never believed it and rode with it all the way to where we are right now, which is exactly where I told you he was going to be, fighting Deontay Wilder in a third fight, or everybody around him was going to be in a lot of trouble. But now we see the aftermath of this from Anthony Joshua. And I'm going to tell you, man, before I give my explanation, that I think that both Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury were pretty much doing the same thing with each other. Clout chasing and trying to duck somebody. The clout chasing on Tyson Fury's part was with Deontay Wilder, and the ducking on Anthony Joshua's part is Alexander Usyk. But let's talk about it and how we got here, right? So Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury has to happen. As we know, the arbitrator said, sorry, Tyson Fury, you have to take this fight. And you have to take the fight for a series of reasons. I'm going to cover that on a separate video because I'm telling you, I'll put it this way. From my understanding, Tyson Fury actually said that, hey, even if this contract expired, I can't have this fight because Deontay Wilder defamed me by calling me a cheater. And the judge looked at the facts and said, I'm sorry, you're accusing him of defamation, but I can clearly see that you cheated. So that's not defamation. All he said was that's the truth. You can't break into somebody's house, steal their stuff, and then turn around and say, oh, you defamed me by saying that I stole your stuff. Well, you're on tape stealing the stuff, so there's nothing you can do other than give him his stuff back. But anyway, so the judge orders the fight to take place. Despite the fact, and during this whole time, right, the UK media ignored it and acted like it was not going to happen at all, right? Absolutely acted like it wasn't going to happen at all. Every time Eddie Hearn says something about Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, all of the media is overcome with conversations about that fight taking place. Sorry, all you see there is a desperate attempt, in my opinion. All you're seeing there is a UK boxing's desperation to hold on to their fake domination of the heavyweight division. And that is it, and that is all it is. Number one, if you would have went back to 2017 and you said who is really running the heavyweight division, what country is really it in the heavyweight division? In 2017 and 18, you would say, hey, well, it's Anthony Joshua. He's got so much momentum around him. You know, the UK fans are really behind him. They got 100,000 people going to stadiums, you know, this, that, and the other thing. But the problem is Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn wanted to get all the way up to the finish line and then not cross it. And they didn't want to fight Deontay Wilder. They tried to pawn off Deontay Wilder onto Dillian White and then have Anthony Joshua run around and fight a bunch of guys that left the WBC rankings so they didn't have to fight Deontay Wilder. And they could fight for other belts that had been vacated by who? The other UK champion that had the 3 belts before that. And please remember, when you're looking at Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, remember that all of the belts that were held by Anthony Joshua were held by Tyson Fury. So the UK at that point in time had 3 of the 4 heavyweight belts, and they went back to getting 3 of the 4 heavyweight belts. And that's why they say that they were running heavyweight, that they were running the heavyweight division, and as a result started acting as if they were running, that they were running all of boxing. But then what happens? Anthony Joshua loses to an American in Andy Ruiz, and he has not gotten his luster back yet. People are not looking at Anthony Joshua like, oh man, this guy's a world beater. This is one of the greatest heavyweights ever. No, I'm sorry, man. That bubble got popped. And in order for Anthony Joshua to get back where he is, he's going to actually have to beat and dominate the best heavyweights that are out there, Deontay Wilder included. And so he lost. Then what happened next? Tyson Fury gets caught cheating, right? But he won. He got himself that WBC belt. Anthony Joshua won and got his WBO, WBA, and IBF belt. But what happens? The luster, as I said, is knocked off of Anthony Joshua, and then Tyson Fury gets the WBC championship, and pretty much right after that, a slew of reports come out with tape of him cheating from the first fight and the second fight. Presumably originally by people that were just mad that they lost their gambling money, because this was not people in the United States saying it. It were people from overseas that bet on the fight. They were like, no, man, Tyson Fury cheated. Look at his glove. His glove isn't even on his hand. And then the next fight, they're like, look at his gloves. He doesn't have any padding on his gloves. Tyson Fury is not doing anything different than Deontay Wilder than what he was doing in the UK that ultimately got him suspended for 2 years, being a sneak thief. But they still had it, right? But now you have Tyson Fury losing in court, and right to a judge's decision that all of the UK media acted like didn't exist, right? Deontay Wilder wins the arbitration case. Tyson Fury is now forced to fight him, and now what happens, right? Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua cannot fight, and they are now both in a scenario where they're going to get ordered to fight guys that they didn't want to fight. Anthony Joshua is going to have to fight Alexander Usyk. The WBO just ordered them to show proof, for Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua to show cause for why they should not defend that belt, their WBO mandatory, their title against the WBO mandatory Alexander Usyk. So now you have Anthony Joshua in that situation. But Anthony Joshua saying, all you did, Tyson Fury, was clout chase me over Deontay Wilder, and you're a fraud and all this. No, man, I'm sorry. I'm not buying that, AJ. I'm not buying that, man. You're an intelligent man. You know that there was an arbitration clause going on. You knew that Deontay Wilder had signed a rematch clause. You knew that Tyson Fury and those guys had announced those rematches, that rematch before that fight even happened. But yet you're going along for the ride with Eddie Hearn talking about a fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Well, what does that do for Anthony Joshua? Number one, it keeps Deontay Wilder's name out of the media, and it keeps Anthony Joshua's name in the media. Because now in the UK, they're talking about, this big mega fight that can be happening. It's the biggest fight in the heavyweight history of the UK. And if you're talking about 2 UK fighters, maybe. But doesn't matter, dude. They're both 2 guys that absolutely, both of the what do you call it? The shine had already dimmed off of both of those guys. The shine died off Tyson Fury probably in the John McDermott fight over there in the UK when John McDermott got robbed. And those guys in the UK know full well that Tyson Fury's a cheater, and they say it openly. So his reputation, Tyson Fury's reputation in his own hometown isn't that good. So, no, man, what I'm thinking is that Eddie Hearn was being an opportunist, and therefore Anthony Joshua was being an opportunist. Tyson Fury was just doing some wishful thinking and thinking to himself, hey, maybe if I can make this fight and convince the judge that I've got another fight that's bigger, then he'll side with me. No, man, the judge didn't sign with you. Ain't nobody siding with you because you signed up for a fight with Deontay Wilder and you're trying not to keep it. And if Anthony Joshua got thrown off, that's on Anthony Joshua, because everybody and their mother, well, not everybody and their mother, people with common sense should have known that they were not about to allow Anthony Josh Tyson Fury to get away with that, especially if you had read what happened with Lennox Lewis and Asim Rahman before. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.